Dang it, man. 9 days out from my show and I still don't know how to pose? I need to become more aesthetic. I wish there was a YouTube video with very specific, detailed instructions. Well, you're in luck, Josh, because this is that video. Really? No way. Well, let's get into it. Whenever you think of aesthetic, you think of visuals. So everyone wants to be visually appealing and aesthetically appealing to the eye. How do you do that? You eat right, so that your body is always conditioned, so that you're showing vascularity, so that you're showing separation in the muscles and the abs. First step, kicking it in the kitchen, like this. Not necessarily on a bodybuilding meal prep, just in general. Eat lean, eat clean. Got me that grub, that meal prep. This is meal number 3 today. It is 12:30. Today's a back day and I'm smashing this right before the lift because I just came from a haircut. As you can see, I shaved my face as well. Getting ready for showtime soon. And yeah, fucking starving. So I'm gonna run this up and we're gonna get to the workout. It's ground beef, 93% lean, and it's spinach, kale, chard. So this is very convenient for me. It's fast and simple. I warmed it up here. Threw a little bit of crushed onion flakes on it and some pink Himalayan salt for some flavor. And also because I'm sodium loading right now. Second step to being aesthetic is one that should be obvious. You need to train, because when you think of aesthetic, what do you think of? I think of like a sculpture, like a Greek god. That's what I think of when I see the sculptures in Greece or something like that. And what's the root word? Sculpt. What do you think of when you think of sculpt? Abs, chiseled, defined. So if you want to get defined, if you want to get chiseled, if you want to be lean and shredded, you got to train on top of the first step, which is eating clean. So right now, I'm training back, latissimus dorsi, for you science nerds. What I just did was increase the weight, and I was saying if you increase the weight, increase the gains, because those go hand in hand. As long as you're doing it with good form. If you're not doing it with good form, you're gonna increase the weight and you're gonna increase your hospital bill. So the third step in being aesthetic, find yourself some good lighting. Basically, I'm under the light. In zoo culture, this is considered one of the best, if not the best, centers for good lighting in the gym. Today is like a foggy day, it's raining, it's been shitty weather for like the last 3 days. But still getting a good source of natural lighting here. If I were to turn around, you could see it in the mirror. I'm juicy. So over here, according to Miguel, who's one of the photographers for Raw Gear in zoo culture, this lighting isn't the best. This is a bunch of different colors. It's not gonna highlight the physique in the best manner, as opposed to the better lighting over there and the natural light coming from overhead. With me being me, I can still look juicy no matter what, because I'm just me. But for anyone else who's trying to become more aesthetic, like the tutorial here, you wanna stay away from lighting like this. Focus more on natural lighting. Or if Miguel, if you have any tips, because I'm not the best with lighting as far as like the details and the scientific terms behind it. So I'm here with Miguel, and I'm obviously he's a photographer for zoo culture for Raw Gear, and I'm asking him, why is this light not the best? What do you want to stay away from? What do you want to go for?
You want a cleaner look most of the time. So with that, I don't like having a lot of colors in the background because they start reflecting off of the mirror, off of the walls. All that's gonna just bring out other colors that you don't really need. If you notice by the skylights and stuff, you really only see 3 colors, which is black, red, and then maybe some white. So other than that, it's very simple, very clean, which I think makes the photo not only look better, but it just helps the light specifically focus on you. Creates a lot more shadows, a lot more cuts. And the spotlight, anything spotlight lighting straight over you, that's where you're gonna get the most shadows. Anything, you don't need it directly on you. It shouldn't be in front of you, it should always be above you. That's gonna be to create the best shadows if you wanna look the most aesthetic.
Okay. Hell yeah, Miguel, thank you, bro.
Yeah, no worries.
Dang, I never thought about it like that. Never really thought about it aside from that either, because I always, like visually I can tell if I go somewhere what lighting is better, what lighting is shit. But when you put it into context terms like that, I hope it helped a lot of you understand. Definitely put it into perspective for me and gave me a better idea. All right, so the fourth tip in becoming aesthetic is you have to know how to pose. You need to learn how to pose. The way I learned how to pose is over the years, I've just studied and watched other people do it. I never had a posing coach, so I had to watch people like Pumping Iron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the other, I guess, athletes, bodybuilders who were on top in the game at that time, like Phil Heath, Frank Zane. I studied up in the golden era. He became one of my favorites because he's very well known for his proportionate and symmetrical physique. So studying and watching others is the way I learned how to pose. Obviously, if you're able to acquire someone who could teach you, if you have those resources, those friends, people who could assist you in that manner, then hey, you're gonna be ahead of the game. I'm gonna give a few examples as far as the favorite poses, aesthetic poses, my favorite poses. The most well-known pose has gotta be the front double bicep. Every pose starts from the bottom up. Let's just establish that bar there. You're always gonna set your legs, your lower body first, and it works its way up throughout the pose. If you watch any bodybuilder on stage, they do exactly that. They set their legs first. That's the first muscle you'll see contract in their whole body. So when I do a front double bicep, because I'm not a robot, I'm not gonna hit the bitch like a fucking pencil. I'm gonna have some sort of lean to it. I'm opening it up so they can see the muscle separation through the inner quad as well as the outer, hitting the calf on the left leg. I'm gonna dip into my hips a little bit. I don't wanna be upright. I'm gonna dip, I'm gonna get a little lean. And when I raise my arms, I'm gonna come up. I never wanna be like clamming it. I don't wanna be like closed in. The judges specifically told me that on stage. So you always wanna take up as much space as you can. You wanna open up your lats, learn how to do that. I know a lot of people can't. And you don't wanna be all the way in here, taking up space. You wanna be wide, you wanna be stout. So I got my dip, my legs are set. One can be raised, one can be lower. You could have them both horizontal to the floor. You can throw one out. One of my favorite classic physique poses is the praying mantis because it highlights the arms. And it really makes your waist disappear the way your body is turned. The leg facing the audience is gonna be bent, slightly back. I'm hitting my calf. I'm sitting slightly so that I can engage my hamstring. They see the side quad. Then, I'm not just gonna throw my arms out. I like to kind of roll them in to create some dramatic flair to it. So I got my dip, boom. You don't wanna have your arms both up here. One will be lower so that you can show your chest, because it's all about your upper shelf. It's not just about the arms. You wanna show your tries, your shoulder, your forearms, your chest, your bicep. It's one of my favorite poses there. So a front double, you just learned, practice that. Praying mantis, also a back double bicep. It's kind of like the same setup as the front, but if you're thinking of the audience's perspective, they want to see every muscle. So one leg you'll be hitting the calf. You'll be squeezing everything else from the bottom up. So you're hitting your calf, you're getting a little dip so you can engage your hamstrings, squeezing your glutes. This other leg you'll have like a slight rotation outward. Not too much, but enough for them to see the side quad here. Then, when it comes to the transition, you'll see a lot of people lock and load it. Ronnie Coleman's well known for doing this. So he'll pull back, he'll retract the scapula to really lock in the lats, the rhomboids, and then, so that's the bodybuilding way to do it. Now if you're classic, see, I still have a lean. There's some sort of a twist there. There's a lean. There's an angle. Everything is about angles and classic physique. Bodybuilding, you can be more upright, simple with it, robotic with it, because that is what goes. Like, that's what they go for. It's all about size. They don't really give that much of a fuck about golden era posing. But in classic physique, my division, it's supposed to be more aesthetically beautiful and pleasing. So the more angles, the better. So the next thing I like to advise is to do freestyle posing in the mirror. Whenever you get the chance during your workout, mid-set, after the workout, before the workout for a warm-up to get some blood flow, practice posing whenever you have the chance. Because ultimately that's gonna redefine and sculpt the muscles more than it will if you're just doing training and doing reps and lifting weight up and down. All right, so as far as step 4 and 5, which is the lighting and then having a good camera, which is exactly what Phil's using right now for this YouTube video. When it comes to posts, if you're on social media or just taking pictures of yourself in general, progress pictures, if you're feeling yourself, you look juicy, you look fucking super shredded, you're a sick fucking cunt, you're taking some photos. Those two tie in hand because obviously, if you're actually using a good camera or something of good quality for resolution, you wanna have good lighting. Why the hell would you have a good camera and have bad lighting and go with the bad lighting? So whenever you're in a situation where you're in a gym, you're outside, you're just somewhere you want to take some pictures, do your best to find the best lighting. Obviously use the camera with the highest resolution, even if it's your iPhone, even if it's a fucking Android. I don't know what kind of resolution they got, but make sure both of those are at the peak. The lighting, natural, not too overly exposed, not too saturated, just perfect to where there's some contrast. It shows the shreds, shows the muscle bellies. Everything's popping 3D. Use the best camera, take your shots. If you have to spend the money, spend the money. Trust me, it's worth it. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. All right, y'all, thank you for tuning into the video. 5 steps to be more aesthetic. Hope you learned something. Hope you can use those and adapt to it. Become more aesthetic in your own mind, in your own setting. Thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Joshua Manoi, and I'm out.